two little ones. I get two little ones.
Bring the super.
Ready? All right, good morning, guys. Morning. This meeting is called to order. Thank you guys very, very much for attending our 2023 annual HOA meeting for Green Springs Patio Homes. I do want to let you know that Alice is recording this for anybody who wants to go back and take a look at it, or for any homeowners that aren't here, so that they'll be able to take a look at the meeting and see what we went through. So that's something she's started for us. She's been also recording the general council meetings and putting them on our website. So that's really, really cool. So take a look at the website, it'll be uploaded there, right? Okay. Carrie, do we have a quorum?
We have a quorum, we have,
Yes.
Daniel, what, 27? 28. 28 homeowners and 31 proxies.
All right, well,
Which is,
welcome.
59.
Welcome, welcome. All right, we needed 55, we have 59, awesome. So typically we talk about the code of conduct. I don't really want to read our whole code of conduct. Obviously, we're all adults, we know what we're supposed to do. I just ask that you just be respectful of people talking. If you need to say something, please stand up and address everybody. And other than that, I know that we know how to behave, so I'm not going to go and read the whole entire thing. I would like to introduce the board of directors. My name is Shannon Cook, I'm the president. This is Brian Ciociari. He's our vice president. We have Nancy Johnston. We have Wendy Armstrong and David Watts and Ronald Houston. So this is was your board. Hopefully will continue to be your board.
Hey.
Oh, and sorry, Alice, you're not sitting over here. And Alice Siegel, sorry. Hey!
She's a Rodney Dangerfield. I get no respect.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm sorry, babe. And of course, we all know Carrie.
You're so quiet is what it is.
Yeah, she's standing over there recording. So before we kind of move on, I do want to take a minute to brag about our board a little bit. I want you guys to remember that this is a group of volunteers, and this year has really been, you guys have been phenomenal. I mean phenomenal. We've done good work. We're really moving forward in the direction that we want to. We are trying to establish rules that are easy to follow, so that everybody has to kind of be on the same plane. We want them to be black and white. Obviously, our covenants and bylaws were written about 30 years ago, so there's a lot of interpretation in there. So one of our goals has been to make sure that we can really nail things down and you know, be on top of the regulations and everything to make sure that it's easy. We want to make it easy to follow the rules. So that's something that we've done. A couple of other that we're working on. A couple other things I just want to brag about. This year, we had a point to where we had no seriously delinquent accounts. That is almost the first time in 20 years that has happened. So thank you guys very, very much. We appreciate that, and that's a big deal. We did put cameras up down at the gate. So we've been able to, Alice has been nice enough to put a camera on her tree and on her mailbox. That does point to the gate, since we had a couple of small incidences. So we are able now to make sure that we can keep an eye on everything, and if there is a situation, we know what's going on. So that's been something we're really proud of this year. Brian kind of spearheaded a situation with, which he'll talk about a little bit more in depth later, getting the ditches cleaned with homeowners. Guys, we had a remarkable response. Everybody did a really, really great job, stepped up, very, very proud. And then on top of that, just policies and procedures that we've really tried to nail down. We have a full complaint policy and procedure that we follow now. Architectural policies, and we're also checking up on those things. So when somebody puts in an architectural request, we do go ahead and once it's approved and it's finished, Brian goes out, takes a look at everything and makes sure that, you know, what was said was done is done. And then of course, if there's any questions, then we handle that. So that's kind of a couple of things I just wanted to let you guys know that, you know, we've been working very, very hard on. So when we're not fighting fires, we're doing these things together. Carrie, one of the things that we've also really tried to do in years past, poor Carrie was really given a lot of things thrown at him, and the board has tried to take more responsibility and delegate to where we're taking a lot of that off of Carrie, and he can do what he needs to do, not what we're supposed to be doing. So, with that being said, I would like to, go ahead and, take care of any nominee representations for, presentations for the board for this year. Up for re-election on the board, we do have Brian, Nancy, and Ron. And then we have, Dan, who will be running as well. Is there anybody else on the floor that's gonna be running for the board this year? No? Okay. Dan, would you like to come up and speak?
First of all, for those that don't know you, that don't know me, had a late night last night. I'm Dan Cinema, a 20-year resident. Got a lot of experience with infrastructure and so forth. I have brought the approved plans for the Sunahana Drive improvements for everyone to look at after the meeting if they like, and I'll be glad to answer any and all questions about that. I just think that I'd be an asset to the board. I've previously served on the board as president and vice president, and really should be addressing the board because I understand they've got 30 proxies. So if you guys think that I will be an asset to you, I hope you'll have me on the board. I have some ideas for improving certain things like the fencing ordinance, which is only worded to allow 4 feet fences currently. So we're making a 2-foot exception every time we approve a 6-foot fence. And I don't believe there are any procedures in place for allowing variances with this board. I've got a lot of experience with that. I've 20 plus years in civil engineering, so I've attended a lot of variance hearings, and I got a pretty good idea of the conditions. And it really should be written, policies like that should be written out. So if somebody has, an idea to appeal a board's ruling, they should be allowed to appeal and so forth. So again, board, if you'd be willing to consider me as a board member, I'm here to offer my services. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dan. Ron, would you like to speak?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, y'all. I'm Ron Houston. I was born in Franklin County, Ohio. My dad was in the Air Force, so we traveled a lot. We ended up here in Myrtle Beach. I've probably been in Myrtle Beach since I've been about 8 years old. So I basically grew up down here. I work at Spring Bay Beach Resort, which is now the Hilton Doubletree. I've been there almost 18 years now. I do all the maintenance down there and rebuild pump motors and stuff like that. I've done 10 years auto mechanics also, so I know how to fix just about anything. Back in the late 90s, my daddy was on the board for Shakora Realty, and I sat there beside him and listened to a lot of the stuff and try to go through stuff with him and see what he's got to do and try to learn it as I went. And I'm here to try to help anybody get along with anybody and fix whatever we gotta fix. So if you guys wanna try to bring me on, I appreciate it and be there for you. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you, Ron. You're up, Sunshine.
Brian Ciorciari, I've been a resident since 2019. I've been on the board for about 1.5 years, and my term is over. I was going to step down, and the board said no, they want me to stay.
We need you.
I get along good with the board, I get along good with everybody. I try to get along with everyone. I have a nice low demeanor, I don't fly off the handle, and when we talk about something, the main thing I think about is how does it affect the homeowners? Okay. And if it's something that we need to have the homeowners vote on rather than just the board, I'll be the first one to say, you know what, we need to bring this up to the homeowners. So that's where I'm at with that. So I do want to run again, so I put my hat in, and I will do a very good job for you. I assure you of that.
Thank you. Miss Nancy.
Hi, I'm Nancy Johnston. I moved here from Massachusetts about 20 years ago. My background is in insurance, property casualty, and real estate. I've been on several boards in the past 20 years and have worked with several different presidents. Each board has a different dynamic. I've enjoyed all the boards. Some of them I like better than others because of personal issues.
Wait, we have no personal issues.
Yeah, it's between us. But I work hard for this community. I've worked hard for it for 20 years. If not on this board, I was a member of Lady Islanders for the past 20 years. I was treasurer of theirs. Social background, I was president of the Massachusetts Club for 10 years, and I work with the Green Springs Humane Society at their fundraisers. I know the community, I know what it needs, I know what it wants, and I will work with whatever board I'm on. I want to thank all of you who have voted for me in the past, and hope you will vote for me again, because I have a lot to contribute. Thank you.
Before we move on to voting, I do want to thank someone that's not on the board. Sorry, Greg, but Greg Couture, he has assisted us, helped us. He's always there to fix something if something needs to be done. So he's really kind of been there to help us out when we need it, as far as, things break or whatever it might be. So I just wanna make sure that he's recognized. I know he's not happy about it, but he's been really, really great, and we wanna make sure that he continues to value working with us. So thank you, Greg. We appreciate you very much. Yes. I did unfortunately accidentally skip over a topic. It does say on our agenda, introduction of legal representation. We did speak with the attorney, and the attorney was not able to be here today. What the attorney's advice was is because everything is still in discovery, the depositions are all scheduled for the end of the month. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have a question that speaks directly to that,
Okay.
and the conduct of the board in general. Where expressly in the bylaws does the board derive its authority to sue any homeowner for anything other than back news?
The covenants and bylaws do say that if something is not, if an architectural request or anything is not followed through the way that it's supposed to, that we have the authority to correct the situation.
Does that expressly say suing?
It is very vague. It is very vague, but
I would say so.
yeah, but we have the authority to correct the situation, and that's what we're doing. So unfortunately, that I can answer, but I have to be very careful about what I say, because we were instructed not to talk about it too much. What I can tell you is all of the information that's publicly available. Some of it has been posted to our website. You're welcome to take a look at that. And his advice also was that on the public index, you can see everything that's been made publicly available about the lawsuits. So they are there. Okay.
And who's financing the lawsuit?
You are.
Yeah.
Everybody is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Absolutely.
And so that doesn't have to go to a vote of the homeowners?
I'm sorry. Can you stand up? I can't hear you.
That doesn't have to go to a vote of the homeowners?
It does not.
It does not?
It does not.
Under what authority?
Under the authority that we have the right to correct the situation. So.
I think the board needs to be turned out.
Oh,
To second
okay.
that.
Well, you've got an opportunity to vote. So, yes,
I have a request.
yes.
Would you please have the people that are speaking stand up and say their name?
Yes, absolutely. That's a great
I don't
idea.
know who either one of these two gentlemen are that just spoke.
Okay.
You don't
I'm
know
sorry.
me?
Can you stand up in the back?
You don't know me? I'm Kevin Todd.
I'm sorry?
I'm Kevin Todd.
Kevin Todd,
Kevin
okay.
Todd?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you I know, yes. Not with a hat. But I.
All right.
Take the hat off.
All right, moving on.
Where is the expense line item in the budget for the attorney?
When we get to the budget and when we get to the financial report, we'll make sure that you have that information.
And this has to happen after the vote.
I mean,
I think it's important that people understand what's going on here and how out of bounds you guys are doing what you're doing. And so, you know, from that standpoint, I think the whole lot of it needs to be turned out.
Kevin, I would love to make sure that everybody is fully aware of what's happening. I would love to give details, believe me, but I have been instructed not to because this is a pending litigation. Now, I can tell you with that line item, and if you go and look at the public index, we are going to be fighting to get that money back. But I'm unfortunately not allowed to say anything else, and I'm not gonna do anything that's going to go ahead and put our board or our money in jeopardy. So that's what the attorney told us to do. I'm following his advice.
Jordan Belmonte,
Hi.
403 Kalani Drive, just so y'all know. If the money that you're spending to sue me is coming out of my homeowner dues, I'd like to be exempt from that.
Well, we will put your, request into consideration.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah.
All right. So, moving on to the secretary's report, I'm sorry, nomination. Everybody has a voting form, I believe. Does anyone not
It's
have
on-
one?
No, it's on me.
It's in your packet.
No, this is my proxy.
That's what we.
Yeah, get a couple.
Everybody got voting for it.
Oh, okay. Did I say
Does anybody need pens? All right.
There's a vote on the back of these things.
Oh,
Which one do y'all need?
it's on the back of it. I'm sorry, that's a good point, thank you. Okay, thank you, Dan. Thanks. Dan, did people turn in their forms? Or they just all have them?
They just all got it.
Okay, so, Dan just brought up a very good point. On the back of that form, I apologize, I thought they were two separate forms. There is, another vote. So before we turn everything in, we'd like to go ahead and discuss that. Brian, that's you, right? Is that okay, Carrie, that you're doing that? Okay. All right, Brian, do you want to discuss that one?
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. I'm gonna hand this over to Brian.
Okay. So as far as, covenants and bylaws, if you read the covenants and bylaws.
I'm sorry, excuse me, louder.
Okay, if you read the covenants and bylaws, you'll see that there's a lot of gray areas there. It does not cover certain things, it covers campers. It does not cover trailers whatsoever. It says boats and campers and nothing else. And then there was a board previously, going back, when I was homeowner, when I purchased in 2019, part of my package was something that the board had voted on. And what it was allowing campers and boats and trailers 2 weeks. Now, it didn't say 2 weeks a month, 2 weeks consecutive, 2 weeks out of the year, just 2 weeks you're allowed to have it in your driveway. So there was a lot of gray area there too. Plus, the board should not have voted to do that, okay? They needed to see every homeowner and have the homeowners vote on it, first of all. Then second of all, they never recorded it in the register of deeds. So therefore, it wasn't legal to begin with. So I took the initiative to put something together, we went over it with the board, they agreed, and we're putting it out to you so that we can cover this and change the bylaws legally with your approval, okay? So that is what we intend to do, and it's up to you guys how you wanna vote on that. If you have any questions,
I have a question.
and
Linda.
your name,
My name's Linda.
yes, Lynn.
I find that there's a lot of addendums that have been made that haven't been registered with the county or have been on a delayed status that have been changed since. So are you guys keeping up with the addendums being registered now? Or are you still
We-
lax on
No,
registering them?
there's no action at all, yeah, we are
Because
working.
when I was on the board, it was talked about, it was approved, Terry had to go in and have it registered, but one thing after another, it never got registered. Now there's all different
I hear you.
addendums, now they're all registered,
Okay,
so,
we are registering, when we get something done and it's a finished product, we register it. So we will register this as well.
I have a question. My name's
Yes, sir.
Paul. I wanna know how any of this is gonna benefit the community.
How's it gonna affect the community?
How is it gonna benefit the community?
Benefit the community? Well, it depends on the homeowner. If there's enough homeowners that have a camper or a boat, or wish they had one, but couldn't,
Why
it's
can't
their
they keep it
chance.
in their garage?
Some of the garages are too small.
Just like Artie. Artie modified his trailer so he can keep his boat in his garage. There's a way to modify it to keep it in your garage where it's out of sight.
Okay. There are some campers and boats that won't fit. Now, you can vote that you don't want it.
There's storage places, that's why this was put in there, so people don't have to look at these things. Then there's going to start being things where we're allowing different things and it's not kept up with. And trailers are overflowing, there's campers that are, all of a sudden now we've got school buses that are modified RVs and different things like that.
That is covered
And it's
here.
gonna lead into other things, and then we might as well be a white trash community. This is not something that should be on the, it's just something that shouldn't be
Okay.
voted on,
Every
period.
homeowner has the chance, the right, we're in America.
You're right.
We're not in Russia.
Don't be pointing your finger at
Okay,
me
we're
and doing
in
that.
Russia.
You just got out of your mouth that you don't get hot tempered, and here you are pointing your finger at me like that.
I'm just saying.
Wow, way to go, great job,
I'm
Professor,
sorry,
great job.
excuse me,
Way to go,
Yeah,
excuse me,
way to show your true colors there.
let
excuse
every
me.
homeowner vote. Every
Good
homeowner.
job.
Brian,
Yes,
one
sir.
thing I don't see on here is, where's the vote for no trailers,
Stand and say who you
nothing
are.
in driveways except cars?
Okay,
Stand up, please. Sorry,
I can't,
That is not so easy.
I'm sorry.
Well, when I read this thing, it talks about 14 days in a month. Now, if I park a crummy old, my neighbor parks a crummy old trailer by me, 14 days in a month, the last 14 days he puts it there. Then he's got another 14 days
For the next one.
for the next one, so there's 28 days I gotta look at this. That's not covered at all.
No.
If I may for one moment, I fully understand what you're saying. If you guys don't want this, this is your vote. If this is something, if these two options are very much against what you want, we can, obviously, we will consider that a vote. So if you guys all say we don't want anything at all, that's your vote, and we will, even though it's not on here, if we've got enough people that feel that way,
So
then
if
we
you don't
certainly
sign
will.
yes, it's a no. Don't sign it. The bottom one says no, your signature,
Yep, that's just.
on the very bottom. Does that cover the whole page?
no, the bottom one, to be specific, that covers recreational vehicles as defined as motorhomes. And if you wanted motorhomes to be included or not.
But the Paul's point.
Why do you vote no
why
on
not-
any of them then?
Why just eliminate it?
If you want to vote nothing at all, We don't allow anything. Please
Ladies and
write,
gentlemen, understand one more thing. There's 59 votes here. The board has 30 proxies. We're outvoted.
Yep.
Understand that.
Yeah, we didn't fill in now. They're gonna vote the way they want anyway.
if you would like to see this not happen at
And again,
all.
Brian says he believes in the homeowners.
I'm sorry, I would like to speak, and yes, I'll get your question. If you do not want either one of these options, if that is your vote as the homeowners, please just write on there, no, or in your signature, and that's the way we will count that. Yes, ma'am, please stand up.
My name is Gail Boyd. I'd like to make an amendment to proposal 1, that the 14 days not be contiguous. In other words, if you had 14 days at the end of the month, you would not be allowed to have 14 days at the beginning of the month.
Good point.
That is a great
Yes.
point.
So I'd like to, if you can take a vote that be added to the proposal 1.
And how would we word that, to
And
make sure that it's
I have one
understandable?
other question. When you change the bylaws, you have to have a certain percentage of vote,
Correct.
and I can't remember what percentage that was. Could you tell us what that
I believe
was?
it's 2/3, correct? Huh? It's 50%. 50%.
It's not 70.
I'm sorry? It is
75, I believe.
It's 75, not 50.
Okay.
And who counts the votes, guys? Who counts the votes? Mario, 401 Kalani.
Who do we have counting votes
The
today?
proxy votes, who
Sorry?
counts them?
Dave and Daniel,
Dave and Daniel. David,
anybody can do it.
huh? Yeah, anybody can do it. If somebody would like to,
So the board counts them?
Oh, no.
no, the board
But
does
the
not
proxies
count
outnumber
them.
number our votes, right? So,
You
Well, that
asked for
doesn't mean
second on my proposal. before
I'm
you
sorry.
voted.
Yes. Okay, let me get through I'm gonna go ahead through the questions and then we'll ask for a second on your proposal. Yes, Dan?
My name's Dan Cinema. I just wondered, if you could ask, if I could ask the question, what is the enforcement plan for this? Is there, because now we don't really have lot reps and, is there someone designated to go around at certain times? What is because there's no enforcement plan that's been presented here.
That's a great question. We actually have been, trying to enforce everything that we have that is in a black and white rule. We have been going around and we have been, taking a look at the neighborhood and trying to enforce anything that we see. Also, if anything comes in as a complaint from the homeowners, then that's something that we have to go and take a look at and we take care of. But as far as an actual policy, as far as, when and everything else, those are still things that we're working on. Which is why I'm asking that this board be able to remain the same so that we can continue the work that we've been doing.
You had a question before?
Yes.
boo.
I'm Fred Weiss. I was on the board almost 10 years. I had all these spots, president, vice president, ditches, roads, and everything. And the purpose of moving into an HOA is so you don't have trucks, trailers, mobile homes parked in the driveway when the houses are built on a 50-foot lot. I mean, you wanna have that stuff, you don't live in an HOA. And all these years, we never had a problem until now. Now we're letting people have bigger vehicles in their driveways, trailers, boats, and it shouldn't be if the people here don't want it. That's why the people move here in an HOA. So you don't have all this shit piled in the driveway.
I'm with you, Fred. Hi, I'm Joe, and to address your statement there, it's not a problem now, they're addressing it now. It's been
That's right.
it's been a problem for
You don't
years.
wanna have
It
a
hasn't been a problem, you called the board and the
Let-
trailer is
I'm
moved.
sorry,
That's right.
excuse me, let me speak.
I've been here 23 years.
And you're right, I'm not debating this, but it has been a problem for years. You're saying that they're addressing it now, and now everyone's upset about it.
We
My one
really
neighbor,
have not
my
had a
one neighbor
problem.
had a commercial vehicle in her driveway for years and has never been fined. No one's done nothing about it. Now she doesn't live here no more.
Right, because the board, I live on.
They weren't on the board then.
Wait a minute, I live on the other side of Sunny Hammer.
Okay.
We're mixed in with the private homes.
Mhm.
Some of these people don't even know we exist because we're on the other side,
Right.
okay?
Understood.
We have never had a problem over there.
Right, but they're addressing it now. It's not a
That's
problem
right.
now, it's been a
We
problem.
just don't want it to happen.
Then vote on it.
Telling everybody here.
Thank
Sit
you,
down.
thank, Joe, thank you for
Sit down.
support.
You know, I'm not knocking them, I'm not knocking you, but if they're addressing it.
I've been here 23 years,
Okay.
we never have a problem.
Right.
Now you wanna vote for all this shit
Do you
going
want
on?
clarity? Do you want clarity on the issue?
All right, guys, can I?
Just saying.
Thank you very much. Yeah, listen, if you don't want it, vote no. Put it on your form, that's fine, this is your vote. This is your vote. And you're right, we are trying to gain clarity. In the covenants and bylaws, there are things that are not specifically mentioned. Okay, and then we had a form that came out that did say that you could do these things, and they are conflicting. So we are trying to make sure, again, that the rules are in black and white, they can be followed. If you vote no, then it's something that we can enforce. If you vote yes, it's something that we can enforce. But right now, there are two contradictory things that are out there, and when I moved in, I got something that said, you know, you could do it 2 weeks out of the month, or 2 weeks, or whatever it was. And now I find out, after being on the board, that that document isn't even really something that we can follow, because it contradicts the covenants and bylaws. That's what we're trying to do. We're not trying to manipulate the vote, we're just trying to make sure that we have got a rule in place that we can follow. If you don't want it, vote no, it's fine. It's your vote, that's why we're putting it out to you. And just because we have 30-some proxies, there are 7 people on this board that all have different opinions. We all have a different way of representing, I have a trailer. I don't want my trailer in my yard. I don't like that it's even become a thing either. But we have 7 people here. The board controls the proxies. If someone gave us the vote, they want us to control their vote.
And how's the board gonna vote on this issue?
Well, I can tell you one thing, I asked the 2 people that gave me proxy exactly how they wanted me to vote before I came here. And that's how I will vote for them.
Yes, sir, please stand up.
Right, just curious, on the proxy votes, like I turned one in case I wasn't going to be here, but I didn't put anybody's name who happens to be on the board. How do those proxies work? So the person I put on there is not here, then somebody can anybody can take it that's on the board, is that correct?
I'm sorry, I'm misunderstanding your question.
No, but when you had to submit, you put
Right.
who was going to vote
Right,
for you if you're not here, and I put a neighbor.
Who's not here.
Who happens to be here,
Uh-huh.
but if he hadn't been or so, that would have then reverted to the board, to anybody on the board. could-
so it would actually revert to their proxy,
To their property.
and then it kind of down the line, and then if there is nothing, then yes, the board takes the vote.
I have a question. If he's here in real life, wouldn't that override his proxy?
No, he's asking if he wasn't.
Oh, if he
Yeah.
wasn't,
All right. I'm sorry, did I answer your question? Okay, all right, Gail, please, stand back up. So Gail is asking that we make an amendment to, the vote, number 1, that the 2 weeks cannot be consecutive, so basically someone cannot put something in their yard for 4 weeks. So I would like
It would be
to,
an amendment.
I'm sorry,
It would be amendment
An
to
amendment.
that proposal.
yes,
And I need a second.
okay, anybody second that? Thank you.
And if
And
they
then you have to
violate,
vote on
and if they violate it, they're fined, what, $10 a month?
It will follow our violation policy, so we will do whatever, we've got all of our policies in place, it will follow the policy, however,
So if you wanted a trailer, you could just basically pay a $10 a month fee.
no, it doesn't work like that.
You pay $10 a day.
It's not a $10 fee,
That's
correct, that
$3
fee,
they fine by the day, not by the month.
but yes, it is an initial fee, and then it's a daily fee, and it is something that we will enforce.
It's compound.
So, yes, sir.
I'm Artie Green, and I do have a boat, And, as Paul said, I've modified my trailer so I could put mine inside my garage. But sometimes on the weekend, when I'm going out Saturday and Sunday, I'll leave my boat out overnight. I don't think any of this should include something like that. I mean, reasonable, stuff.
But see, that's the problem that we're having, is that we don't have something that's, this is what it includes and doesn't include. That's what we're trying to do. Because I agree with you, you know, you bring your boat home to be able to clean it or whatever it might be, or whatever. But the whole point is, regardless of what the vote is, we just want it to be enforceable and something that everyone can follow. So, but yes, you're right, you know, it's, we just need it to be black and white.
I have a comment too.
Stand up there.
Also, you do have visitors sometimes, so the visitors would be allowed to stay, whether they had a vehicle of some sort or a boat or anything like that, right? So it's not necessarily the homeowner, but if they had a visitor, and so that allows their visitor to kind of stay or have an RV out front for 2 weeks without, or we have clarification for that as well. So it's not just the homeowner, it's people visiting you, and you would, I would think, like that,
Again, it's
for that
your
sort of
vote.
reason.
Yeah. Thank you, Wendy.
Kurt Albert.
Sorry, Kurt.
If they had an RV and they're coming to visit down here, stay at Myrtle Beach Travel Park and you go visit.
I mean, that's an option.
It's, again, it's your vote.
I don't have anybody to say.
Let's make another amendment. Why not 14 days? Why not 7? Why have it that long? Like I already said, if you're just for the weekend or something, why not bring it down to just 7 days?
We were just following something that was already put into place, so.
But again, it was never actually put into place. It was never actually put into books. It was never actually existed. It was something somebody created just to appease somebody. It never actually existed.
We could do that. We could do 7.
Do you have would you like to make a motion to make it 7 days? Okay, does anybody want to second that? I'm sorry, Paul McDonald's making a motion to reduce it from 14 days to 7 days. Would anybody like to second?
You have to do Gail's thing first.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
You have to
yes.
do Gail's amendment first.
need a vote.
All right, yeah, I'm sorry, so the, original amendment would be to make sure that those times, whether it be 7 or 14, are not consecutive. So we do have a second, can I get a vote, please, by a show of hands, if you would like to?
No, I don't want to.
Yes or no?
I'd
Yeah,
like
yeah.
to stand up here for a second.
Yes,
My name's Bud Kennedy. I've been a resident here for 27 years. So we know all these things. Nothing here is new. My complaint about this event that we're discussing now is that it's being discussed now and had not been communicated fully prior to it. The homeowners never had a chance to participate in this except for the board. If I had to make an amendment or an idea now, is that this vote for this particular idea should be tabled for further discussion. That we are in no way ready to have a vote because there are about 4 or 5 different opinions here. It
Okay.
needs more staffing done before we can vote. And if you want me to vote on something, give me a heads up and tell me what we're voting for. As we go through this meeting and the other many meetings that we've all been to over the years, my largest complaint has always been the board's failure to communicate. It's not unique to this board or any board, it was all boards. So we're sitting here being mushroomed many times and asked to make a short-sighted decision without discussion in the middle of a meeting that's gonna last 2 hours. I'm sorry, I cannot support that for my own personal need. I just wanted to say my piece. Thank you.
Bud, thank you, Bud.
Thank
I would like to note that this was included in your packet.
The packet is 30 days old.
You're right.
Yeah,
So,
and it's poorly worded, but it's 30 days old.
so, do we have a second, go ahead.
I just wanted to make I'm Dan Sinema, and I agree wholeheartedly with Bud. We could be here from all day long talking about this one issue, and I'd like to explore it further, and therefore I'd like to make a motion to defer
Raise your hand.
Okay.
Second.
I'm gonna second that, because I agree, Bud, I totally agree with you.
Okay.
I want everybody to make sure that you vote properly, and if you have any questions, so let's mull this over, definitely.
Alright, so we have a motion on the board to defer this issue? Yes? Sorry, excuse me. Dennis?
Bring up, that maybe maybe make it like 9 days instead of 7, so that would be 1 weekend.
Motion on the table.
Yep. So, Daniel,
Give us some leniency, 1 weekend to another. Great.
Daniel, thank you. I think that we're gonna, probably vote to defer, but that's a great suggestion. Alright, so there's a motion on the table to defer. Can I have a show of hands?
Any second?
He seconded.
Second it,
Mhm.
yeah.
Can I get a show of hands to table? Alright, thank you. Okay, that motion is deferred. That item. Alright. Alright, so, now that the back of that form is no longer valid, if you filled out your board member, election, please go ahead and pass them. Would you mind, Angel? Yeah. Would you mind collecting?
Did it upside Don't raise your hand.
I'm sorry. I'm trying.
Should have been left alone and followed the rules. Don't.
Wow.
Before the
Hey,
board.
next year, we have donuts. I'm kinda happy.
I've seen the cover, it's not specifically.
Sugar always makes things happen.
It makes things, I'll agree with that one.
You know?
Scratched out the back.
Oh, wait.
I'll take them up for you. Shannon?
Oh, yeah, because as you said,
Did everybody
she's
have an
tiny
opportunity
compared to
to
everybody
or are
else.
we still waiting?
Mighty, tiny mighty.
Yes, ma'am.
I just have a question, I can't vote or anything, but on the letter here,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, I think one thing had to be changed, it's Fairwood Lake, not Fairway Lakes,
Okay, thank
okay?
you.
We have 192 homes,
Okay, thank
so
you.
Carrie can change that, okay?
Indeed. Indeed. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pass this on to Carrie and, let him do his thing.
Jackie, I think that's actually a letter from general counsel.
It's got an updated letter, I told you that when I came. to
Well,
the meeting.
yeah, but just for the record, it's Fairwood.
Okay, they relate. How much
something, you can come out to the show. Oh, where are we, folks?
Minutes.
Minutes. I have the minutes from last year's meeting. Can I get a motion to defer?
I'll make a motion to defer.
Basically, it's done reading it. Everybody got a copy of it last year. If anybody needs a copy, I'll make sure they get a copy. But what Art is doing is saying we're going to accept them as written. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor? Or anybody against? Let's put it that way.
All right, we good with that?
Treasury report. Second page, balance sheet. Our current checking account is $17,974. We have $33,000 in road savings, $2,515 in a money market. Total of $54,476.36 in checking and savings. We have $1,313 receivables. As Shannon said, we are much lower. I have 3 people that are paying monthly. They're catching up. They should be paid by the end of the year. I had 8 people paid in advance for next year, which is good. All in all, we're in very, very good shape. We've had thousands before, and receivables, we have gotten those taken care of. Total receivables in money, $55,789. Second page, turn that page over. The first column is what we spent this year. The second column is the budget for this year. Third column is the proposed budget for next year. Let me just go down all of it, I suppose. Dues, interest, late fees are more than I anticipated. We had 5 homes that we sold, $1,250 that we made in, new home fees. I'm sorry.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
When the board needs money, the extra money for whatever the reason be, does it take it out of the CD or a road fund? And when you do that, do you need the neighborhood's permission?
We don't take it out of those,
Like when we did the gate or anything else that the board needs money for,
Not budgeted.
right, where does that money come from? Do you borrow from the CD, do you borrow from the road fund, when you need money? Where, and do you ask the neighborhood?
Road fund,
first?
basically. Excess money, I contribute or designate road fund, so if we need extra money, that's where it comes from. It just doesn't go to the road fund at the end of the year.
So the road fund money and the CD money, any extra money that we have that's in those type of accounts, the board can use as seen as fit to whatever they want.
Yeah.
Without the neighborhood's authorization.
Yes.
Is that legal? Is that legal?
Yes.
It is?
We're designated to spend and handle the money,
But is it legal?
so, well, according to our covenants, yes.
According to you, okay. No,
Get the covenants, nothing to do with me. Yes, Fred.
Is there a 5-year plan or beyond that for our roads? Because you only have $38,000 in there.
We're waiting to see what the roads are going to do, when they're going to start, if they're going to repair, if they're going to do anything to Sunny Hannah. Really
Well, with the-
before-
Our road.
Before ours, that's what I'm saying. If we start doing ours, we're not gonna get much done, so.
So $38,000
Yep,
is not
that won't go
gonna
far,
do 1/3 of it.
1/3.
Are you using that money for our lawsuit too?
Oh, Jesus.
Is that what you're doing?
Which money?
Any money that's on the board,
Yes.
our money that we
Yes,
pay you
we're
guys.
paying part out of your money, yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So that's depleting your road fund.
yes, true. For the time being, hopefully we'll put it back.
And what if you lose?
Then we'll have to assess the homeowners
Really?
Yeah.
to make it up, yeah.
I don't think you can do that.
Is that legal?
Read your
You can't do
covenant.
that.
Read your covenant.
No, you can't.
Cable is higher this year than I anticipated, but that includes our cable and our internet. Copy cost is pretty low, electric is actually a little low. Insurance was less than I anticipated.
Hey, Gary, hold on, I got a question. It says, for the annual meeting, it says there was no cost.
No, I haven't spent anything yet. The building's free, printing, whatever printing I did yesterday and today. Mailing,
What about everything that was sent out a month ago?
all that stuff I printed. That should be under
And the
printing.
postage and everything else, I mean, that was money that was spent.
That's under postage and,
Well, that
Copy
counted,
cost.
that should count for the annual meeting, that shouldn't count for postage and stuff, that should count for an annual meeting, because that goes for the annual meeting, not for postage and stuff.
I'll agree, I'll change that. Thank you, Paul. Postage, where are we?
Insurance was your last one. Maintenance.
Cable was more.
Maintenance is cutting the common area. We also cut Sunny Hannah. Management is myself. Office expense. I budgeted a lot more for office expense than I spent. We lost QuickBooks, and I'm trying to get a replacement for QuickBooks. That's about $800 a year.
Wow.
So that's, I didn't spend it.
That's a bit much.
A bit much. That's the reason I didn't spend it. Postage is a little over. I have enough postage for the next year, so I'm not anticipating having to buy any more stamps. Reserve fund, we have spent $11,205 on the reserve fund. That includes money for the new homeowners and the lawsuit. Security, $10,314, we pay $864 a month. Taxes are low because we don't make any money. Trash is pretty much right on. We have a contract with them yearly. Water is below because we didn't do a lot of watering this year, and the website, we haven't done any expenses on the website. Questions?
Do the receivables include fine revenue, and if so, what portion are we?
It would, but we don't have any coming in right now, so. That would simply go, I'd put that under, reserve is where I'd put it. If we had any in.
Okay, I thought we were getting some fine income from some of the more egregious violations.
It's accruing, it's not being paid.
Understood.
So Kerry, if an assessment is needed, let's say it is, how does that work? Do you guys vote on it, or the whole 108 homes vote on it?
If it's more than 20%, the homes vote on it. If it's less than 20%, the board does.
Why shouldn't the homeowners vote on it instead of you
Because
guys?
it's not in the covenants.
It has to be over.
Questions? Brent?
I have a question on fines.
He says
Years
they're
back,
accruing.
you and I were at a lawyer's office, and we had to go, every single homeowner, which I did, and have the homeowner sign a piece of paper to say that we were allowed to fine. And then after we were all done, the lawyer said, you gotta do that for every single issue, you know, that you wanna fine.
Right.
Now, how is that handled now? You're saying we're gonna fine people for this and that and that.
What are we
I'm
fining?
sorry, I don't fully understand your question.
What are you fining people for now? What are the items that you're fining people for?
Anything that's a violation of the covenants and bylaws.
That's,
Okay.
that's what you're gonna get.
Is that legal?
Yes. We have a violation policy that's in place, that's actually been registered and is on the website as well. That violation policy has been put through with our lawyer and has been.
When was that? When was that? What year?
When was it registered? I'm not 100% sure on that.
Well.
Yeah. And
we
it's
don't
not
know
something
for
I was
sure.
prepared to answer at this moment, but I can find that out for you.
I would like
Yep.
to know that.
Yes, the violation policy does actually outline everything that we have to do in order to be able to find somebody.
Okay.
So.
Can that go on the website, or can we
It is on the
email you?
website.
Okay.
It is, yes, I'm sorry, who else had a question? Carrie, I'm sorry. Who else, yes, ma'am.
My name is Gail Boyd, and it's the security, cost that I'm asking about. Our security is minimal now, and can we discuss?
That will be up for discussion, yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yep.
later on?
Yes, ma'am, yep. Did anybody else have a question about the fines while I'm here?
I've got a question about maintenance on here. What does that cover?
Cutting the grass.
So it's going up from, from $4,800 to $5,300.
Yes. $500 a year, about $50 a month.
Where is it?
So,
Oh, okay.
and that's from April to October. So we're talking 7 months.
They do it year round.
So they cut it when it's dead?
Leaves.
We need to rake up leaves, we need to clean branches, there's always
We
something.
need, clean.
And we pay for it as we do it, so if they don't do anything in the wintertime, I don't pay anything. I pay more in the summertime, I probably pay about $700 a month in the summer.
That's a lot, considering they're not even cutting the shrubbery and everything down at the blockade, because I know I personally cut it 4 times this year and trimmed everything up down there. And I know Scott Cullen has cut the grass down there at the end, at St. Andrews. I mean, they're not cutting everything. I mean, I don't understand why we're paying for this stuff and they're not taking care of everything.
Cause it goes in their pocket.
I mean, I don't get this.
Yeah.
I mean, why is the board not going behind and making sure that people are doing their jobs?
I need somebody to tell me, I appreciate it, I didn't know that they were not cutting common
Well,
area.
the board should be going behind, it's a voluntary job, but it's still a job.
Right.
You don't follow up on it, none of you guys.
Thank you, we'll make sure.
That's just like the blockade down there, the reflector was broken for 2 months. Greg goes down there and fixes it.
We know that Greg fixed it. Greg told us he
But
was fixing it.
it was down there for 2 months, nobody fixed it. The sailcloth was broken because nobody takes it down in the high wind, it got ripped. Nobody's following up and doing everything. You're sitting up there bragging about how everything was taken care of, and the good things y'all did, but y'all aren't taking care of the simple stuff.
First of all, please stop raising your voice. This is a calm discussion. If we can't discuss it like
Take
adults.
care of the simple stuff, please.
I'm sorry, I'm busy fighting, we're busy fighting fires for all of the stupid stuff that keeps coming through.
The simple stuff, the stupid stuff the board's allowed to happen.
By all means, can you
Can I
please,
talk?
yes, can you go ahead and put yourself on the slate for the nomination? Because you clearly can do it way better than we can.
Oh, I can because I understand laws.
Well,
I understand laws and I educate myself.
Anybody.
and you know what, this discussion's over, please, go ahead.
I just wanna say something, I may
This
get
is where
boiled
we're
over in me.
meeting.
Some of y'all know me, some of you don't. My name's David. I got elected last year. These people, I didn't know what the hell was going on. Wanna thank you for doing your little thing down there. I appreciate that. I just can't understand why only the bitches came to the meeting, pardon my language. But we've got a bunch more people. I don't know why y'all the only ones that came and keep hollering. These people are trying to talk and you talking over them. Please, just talk calmly, please. That's all I ask. I'm hard of hearing, I don't wanna hear everything else going on. Thank you.
If
You
you
just
have,
called us all bitches for coming to a homeowners meeting. Are you serious?
I am.
Shane, that's our boy.
Yeah.
They call us bitches.
The board.
They call us bitches, all right, people? That's your board you're gonna vote on?
I'm sorry.
Good luck with you.
He said
Thank you.
bitching, not bitches.
Not bitches,
No,
yeah.
he said bitching.
Bitchy, yeah, we're bitches.
No, bitching.
We have one of
Hey, excuse me.
Just move on, Shannon.
Don't make my jeans come off now. I can replace, thank you. All right, where were we?
Voting on a budget.
Thank you. Carrie, please continue.
Budget's on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
Why don't you come outside and say that?
Really?
Oh,
Who said that? Who said that?
Take it easy.
Come outside and say you're in it.
Where's the gun? Ignore him.
Come outside.
Sit down. Ignore him.
All right, and
Just remember, this
thank
thing
you.
gotta threaten
Thank
somebody,
you,
to shoot
officer.
him.
Yeah,
No, we've been trying to lie down.
Good girl.
yeah.
The budget's on the right-hand side.
Somebody needs to call the police.
Yeah.
The police right there.
Yeah. All right, thank you, Carrie. Please continue.
Can I get a motion to accept the budget?
I made, no, second it.
I second it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job, Karen.
Thank you.
Can I say something?
Thank you, Gary, for all you do.
I do apologize. I must have started something else. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
You know, we know what you meant, but things get taken out of context, just everybody understand, keep your tempers down and understand each other's sides. We understand you guys have gripes and they're legitimate.
How many are you gonna vote on this budget?
I don't,
Well,
I don't, but I hear those horror stories and what he says is not right, it's not legal. And nobody should be threatened by anybody, period. We're all adults here,
I
right?
have no idea.
Aside from her, I think I'm one of the youngest ones here.
I think she's the most well-behaved person in the room. She's the most well-behaved person in the room.
Don't get her mad, I tell you.
I would like to recognize that we had 2 people pass away this year. I just got this information recently. Dave Cormier passed away in June. Robert Manning passed away in September. We have a moment of silence. Thank you.
I'm looking for the fire pits, that's gonna be another.
Can I make a joke? Do we still have the proxy?
Stop it.
Oh,
Stop it,
wow.
stop it, don't do that.
I'm just saying, I just wanted to say.
Fire pits.
That's fine.
All right. Thank you.
The proxies come from everybody to say you're coming to the meeting. I don't use them once I get it. Say, Art's coming, and Gail, I wrote it down, I knew she was coming. In case she didn't come, I could use her proxy. We had this happen one year, our president got sick and went to the hospital the morning of the meeting. We had a proxy. That's all the proxy does. If you come, I don't use it, I don't need it. It's only for the people that aren't coming to let us vote for them.
Thank you, Carrie. So last year, old business, we did decide to table, anything about fire pits or burning or anything until, further discussion can be made. The board has been discussing this, and we are just about finished with the regulations. Nothing in the covenants or bylaws mentions fire pits or burning or anything like that. That was made very abundantly clear. I think it just kind of came through, we've always been told no. But again, we are trying to take everything and make it to where people can understand it. So we have been working on doing some regulations for fire pits to make sure that everything that's done is done safely.
Are you doing it according to Horry County's
Yes, ma'am.
fire department?
Yes, ma'am, we are. We've actually been in contact with the fire department. Yes, ma'am. So, in those regulations will just include, what's allowed to be, burned. There will be no open burning, period. We did have a situation, we did handle it. But I wanna remind you guys, obviously, we're just the board. We're not the police, we're not the fire department. So if you see something, if someone threatens you, or you see a fire or anything like that, please call the proper authorities.
There's a burning ordinance right in effect now, you cannot burn in Horry County.
Correct, yes ma'am, correct. Yes, sir.
With previous issues, not bringing up details, but the police have already educated me directly that they can't do nothing unless you have video proof.
Okay.
The cop said it specifically right to my face in front of certain people, not gonna say names, but it's kinda scary because then we can't enforce laws unless you have video proof.
Well, thank you.
Anything.
Well, you have a cell phone.
Well, it's
Thank
how
you.
fast can you whip it out until, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I agree, but just letting everybody know, that's how it's been said to me by police.
So, just to let you guys know kind of where we are, with the fire pit situation, so we are regulating, you know, what can be burned, obviously. People have fire pits that take propane, natural gas, gel. We will allow wood burning fires, but with extreme regulations. It has to have a screen over top of it. It has to be in an actual vessel, not on the ground, not in a fire ring. So we are doing our very, very best to make sure that we get this, again, black and white, and that it's something that can be enforceable and safe, a safe policy for everybody. So once that's finished, we'll make sure that that gets out to everybody and that we can be able to have some rules that are able to be followed. Yes, sir?
How do you monitor that when you got 6-foot fence up?
That's not an easy thing, you're right, you're right. Again, there's only so much we can do, we're just trying to make sure, we expect people to follow the rules.
I understand that.
Yeah, you know, we expect everybody to be grown-ups and follow the rules, and, you know, we're trying to do what we can to make sure that we at least put the rules in place.
And can I say something? As a community, like, you know, what you were saying, Paul, is sometimes we can't see everything. And we are volunteers, and we have our own lives, we have things that happen as well, you know, people passing away or what have you, being out of town. So we need your help to notify us. Carrie is more than willing to take notices, you know, anybody who has any issue, hand it to him, hand it to one of your board members that is closest to you. We can't be everywhere all the time, and we're trying our best. We're trying to help you guys out, but we do need help sometimes too. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well said, Wendy, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I agree with everything everybody said, but, sorry, I'm Alice, hi, I live on Killarney. What if we revisit street reps? If we have somebody that we can go to who is willing to volunteer to
Make a
litigate a
phone call.
situation, make a phone call, fill out a form, that might give us an opportunity to have guys everywhere.
That's a great idea.
We did that for years, and it worked out great. You just called and you said blah, 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 and it was discussed and you were called back with an answer.
The challenging part is getting volunteers. So while we're all here discussing this, what do you think how would anybody recommend or motivate somebody to take ownership of that type of position? Those are the kinds of problems that. Pay them? Pay volunteers?
Hire somebody and pay them. I just don't pay more HOA.
I will pay you in hugs.
Raise the HOA, what difference it make? Get it done.
No.
It's hard.
The motivation comes from
The
pride in the
board-
community.
For years, the board did it. Every board member took an area.
As a community, we should be helping each other.
Basis.
And that's,
There's too many people worried about the next
Pay
person, what
somebody.
they're doing wrong. You're turning us against each other.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's hard to go over
Ultimately,
neighbor.
and I understand everybody has issues, and they're all valid. I'm not saying your issues are not valid, but the 6-foot fence is no different than your courtyard. Your courtyard's 6 foot, right? So who's stopping them from burning in their courtyard?
Correct. They do.
They do, but yeah, but that's within their, but you're gonna complain about a 4 foot or 6 foot fence, so what's the difference?
You can't see it.
What's it to you, what's in their backyard or in their courtyard?
For years and
It's none of your
years,
business what
we
happens in my
had the
house.
board
No
members
disrespect.
do it.
I'm sorry, we have a question. Go
Each
ahead.
board member took a certain number of
For
streets.
many years, we had the board members take a different section, including over by us.
Yeah, the
It was
27
no
forgotten
problem.
houses.
No problem.
suggestion too.
That's who's gonna give us that.
Yeah, the board may wanna consider that.
I worked as a street rep when I was on a board. I was on a board with Mr. Weiss for several years, with Mr. Sapat for several years. I've been on the board with you, with Ivy. When there were street reps, I was a street rep. I took Kalani and Birkdale. It's really not any different than being on the board and taking requests. I have people that call me and say, what about this, what about that? If it's something simple, I answered it. If not, I bring it to the board, or I tell them to put in their complaint form or their request, and then we discuss it if it's something complicated. The Shermans called about their trees. Did they need an architectural form to take down trees? No, they did not. I was able to tell them that. Everybody here can take a street, two streets.
It's more personal, it's not filling out
Yes.
something on the computer and sending
Right,
it through the app or whatever.
I don't think a rep should make any decision on a complaint. If you have a complaint, you fill it out,
It should be
and then that goes.
directly the board,
Should be
Correct.
personal.
no other volunteer.
Should be personal.
And I have no problem with taking a couple of streets.
So I mean, I will add to that, you know, part of, this board is very, I know that you guys, it's been made very clear that not everybody feels this way, but this board is very active. We are a very active board. I mean, we are in communication. Alice set us all up HOA emails, so we're no longer using personal emails. We each have an HOA email that we can communicate with, and then the next person who comes along, mine says Green Springs president. When there's a president behind me, they will actually get that email and they'll be able to see everything that's gone past and everything that's going on. One of the problems that we have is there has been so much that happens. You know what I mean? And then we're trying to backtrack and we're trying to fix some things. But we have been very, very active. We're all the time together. We're all the time talking and trying to make sure that we are doing what we need to do. With that being said, you know, yes, we are trying to take on the responsibility because the board has to consider everything together. Before, when we had kind of different situations, people were making decisions on their own, and we've gotten in some trouble for that. So we are trying to make sure that everything comes before the board as a group and is voted on. So that, you know, that has been our policy this whole year. That's why the complaint forms are so important. That's why the architectural forms are so important. It has to come before the board and be able to vote on. Now, if there's a, you know, somebody's got a fire and you need to call somebody, then you call one of us. That's different. But as far as decisions being made, that's something that we, you know, again, this is a collective voice. Wendy represents, her vision is different than my opinion, and his opinion is different than his. That's why you need to have all of us together to be able to make sure that we are making an opinion or a decision that affects the most amount of people. So, I just wanna let you know that, you know, we are always actively involved. Yes, sir.
Alice, to answer your question, what would it take to get people to do this? The board needs to invite people. The other night, Halloween, I was heartbroken to see that there was no social committee to have the trunk or treat back with the kids. Because that shows that the community is coming together. Again, there was nothing to bring the kids together back there, and, you know, that makes me happy to see all those little kids and everything back there.
That makes us
And again, it was nothing bringing the community together to do that. And that's what the board needs to do, is help bring the community together. So the board needs to reach out and ask people, would you like to be part of this? Would you like to be part of that? It's the board's job to help bring the people together, and they need to ask people, would you like to be a street representative? Would you like to do this? Would you like to do that? So that's what it would take.
Thank you, Paul.
Could we be given a list of the, your internet, what do I wanna say, your email addresses?
Absolutely.
Well, we don't have them, there was none sent out to us.
They're all
They're on the website.
Everything's on the
Yeah,
website.
but not everybody wants to be bothered with a website. I
I-
cannot go through, I cannot find anything on it.
Well,
so.
if you can't be bothered,
I can't find it.
well, maybe somebody
Maybe-
could help you find
Well,
it.
I'll ask you to help me.
Okay, you come over the house, I'll show you how to do it.
You have a computer to show me?
Yes, I do.
Computer, I had all of it. Go ahead, David, please.
I was just gonna answer the thing about the trunk or treat. It was moved from where we've been having it, which broke my heart too, because last year we had 100 and some kids. This year I had 30. It was moved because of some disagreements with someone close to there. And it was moved because of that, because we wanted no more hard feelings in that neighborhood. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
And we didn't have enough participation.
And you're more than welcome to join the committee.
But we would love for you to join the social committee, which is, you can offer to join it. And I'd love to see another trunk or treat, things like that.
Absolutely.
But, that's all I had to say about the trunk or treat, because I was all for it too, but I understood why it was moved.
Any surplus candy, she'll be more than happy to help you remove it. If you need help, we will remove it and haul it for free.
Send me around the house.
No, thank you, thank you. All right, as far as fire pits go, as soon as we have everything finished and regular, and in stone as much as we can with very little interpretation, we will go ahead and make sure that gets out to everybody, and it will be on the website, okay? But we will send out an email letting you know. All right, the Killarney gate camera, I kind of already touched base on that. Like I said, Alice has let us use her Wi-Fi and her tree and her mailbox, so that we can keep an eye on what's going down there. We have had several people hit the arm of the gate. Thank goodness most of them have been nice enough to at least admit to it, but the good thing about the arm, one second, Joe, and then you. The good thing about the arm is it is meant to come off. It only has little nylon bolts. It's meant to be able to, if you hit it, it comes off, it rolls away. It's a safety feature. So you might see it laying on the ground sometimes, but we just pick it up and we put it back on there. The other thing is, if you ever see the gate stuck open, you know, again, my husband and I are really the only two that do anything with that gate, and we both work full-time jobs, and we don't know it's up until somebody tells us. Once we do, we get down there, we have gone down there constantly, and we either fix it or we do what needs to be done to fix it. Sometimes it's not a problem that can be fixed that day. But if you do see the gate up, please pop me a text, send me an email, call me, and I'll get down there as fast as I can. But we do try to keep up with it. Go ahead, Joe, sorry.
As to the gate, I heard there was vandalism from kids.
Yes.
Whatever transpired from that, I'm just laying up to them questions.
Nothing. We did have some video surveillance, but you couldn't see anything on it. There was nothing that we could do. So unfortunately, we didn't know who did it, but they didn't do any damage, thank goodness. Yeah, but they kicked it down.
That's what inspired putting the better cameras up.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Committee reports. Architectural.
Nancy mentioned earlier, tree cutting, shrubbery cutting, anything in the yard you wanna cut. Maintain your property, yard debris does not go in your trash can, goes to the dump. Please burn your garage lights, this is all old stuff. And please store your trash container out of sight. There's the website's on here, if you need to request any forms or look up the form. That's all.
Okay. Social committee?
There was a yard sale which was well attended. I made good money. And I want to thank David and Daniel Watts for doing sign duty for me. We have a Christmas party coming up December 14th from 5:30 to 9. Dinner would be served at 6. It is at the Sons and Daughters of Italy. It's $27, tax and tip included. There will be a cash bar. The menu and more information will be on the webpage, or you can call me. I'm listed in the directory, and I need payment by December 11th, 23. The people that went last year all had a good time. We had prizes and good fellowship. Welcome baskets, with the help of Daniel Watts. All baskets have been delivered, except the one for 102 St. Andrews. It's not occupied yet. I've gone there 50 times. Financials, I'm gonna go on because I've got that right here, and then we'll be done with that. The board reviews the, financials every month. We get a copy of the balance sheet and stuff. And in April and September, I meet with Carrie and we go over all transactions. There were no errors found. That's it for those two. Oh, I can give you my telephone number if you're interested. It's 843-650-8794. I hope to see all of you at the Christmas party.
And we will send out an email that gives you all the
Yes.
information about
Yes,
Christmas
and
party
I will,
as well. Yes, sir.
And for the umpteenth time since I've been here, I still don't get all the emails that y'all sent out. I know that y'all done it several times and tried to make sure that I'm getting them, but I don't know how it gets done.
I don't know what in the world is happening,
I don't
yeah,
either.
because we have it in there correctly. I'm not sure what's.
But I keep hearing from my neighbors, well, you saw the email and stuff, and I say, well, no, I didn't see it. So
I got that same
It's
problem.
in the spam filter.
Really? Yeah,
I checked my spam, it's,
No, it's not.
you know, I don't know why.
all right, so thank you, Nancy, social committee. Obviously, fence and architectural request forms are on the, Island Green, on our website. So we have our nominating committee, Terry, can you take that for a
The
second?
covenants require that I list the 3 people for the nominating committee each year. Alice, Bonnie Holloway, and David Watts selected our candidates for this year.
All right, thank you.
Nothing major.
All right, maintenance.
Maintenance, I'd like to thank all the homeowners that cleaned out their ditches. I know it was a tough job or an expensive job, and we all appreciate that. I know it was a tough thing to do, and we've been asking people to do it, and it hadn't been done. It does affect some people more than others, so we all thank you for doing that, whoever needed to clean a ditch. And that's the main thing with the maintenance. If anybody ever sees anything, that they see, something that needs to be done, please reach out to somebody, whether it be me if I'm still on the board or one of the other board members, and we'll take care of it. Thank you.
Great job.
Regarding maintenance, if anybody has any recommendations for a maintenance person, mine is planning on being here next year, but, I always try to take bids each year. So if anybody knows anybody wants to
They're all so expensive.
cut our common area.
All right. Are there any new homeowners here with us today? No? Okay.
They walked out earlier.
I don't blame them. Well, we do have, several new homeowners. I'm not gonna read their names, they're not here, so, but we do have 5 homeowners. Like she said, 102, we've not been able to connect with him yet. But we have been able to connect with all the other homeowners, and they did receive a welcome basket. And we try to make sure that they get the information that they need as well, so that they can be there to follow the rules. So we make sure they have the website, emails, and everything else. All right.
Quick thing, one regarding new homeowners, for what it's worth, the last 2 homes went in the neighborhood of $285,000.
Wow, that's crazy. Crazy, crazy.
Say it again.
I didn't hear it.
285,000 in the neighborhood of, yep. All right, new business. So there were a couple of letters that were included in your packet. One was from Carrie, and one was from General Counsel. So we have, the reason that this has been brought to our attention is because we've had a lot of people that have contacted us about security, that have been unhappy with where we are with security, what we're paying, whatever it might be. And there are some people that are very happy with the way that things have changed. We used to have 2 guards, we have 1 now. Just people have expressed some opinions to us, so we are turning it over to you. This coming year, we need to decide if we want to participate in security any longer. I don't really know how to continue this conversation because it's very complex. But I would like to hear from you guys if you have any opinion on it, so we can kind of talk this through and have a discussion. Yes, sir.
Dan Cinema. I had no idea how valuable security was to our community until I served on the board. I'm seeing some former board members out here, and I don't know if you're shaking your heads in disagreement or not, or agreement or not, but that's basically what I wanted to say. Unless you've served on the board, you don't really have a feeling for how important these guys are to our community. And I haven't had a problem with the security myself. I don't know what folks are complaining about, but if there are any complaints that are anything other than a petty gripe, I'd be interested in hearing those.
Yeah, does anyone have anything to say?
No, I said a word.
I have
Yes, sir.
questions. I know that the guy was supposed to be riding around and stuff, and, several times I've seen him parked up in the guardhouse and stuff. Is that part of what we having them do at this
All right,
point?
the guardhouse is occupied from 7 till 9 every night. Then the guard goes on to roving for the rest of the evening. The guardhouse will be knocked down as soon as the road starts. That's why we're doing it this way. And we don't have enough money for more than one guard.
Oh, I'm
And
not
that's, you know,
complaining,
that's-
I'm just asking.
And, if you go on to the general
Can you
counsel's
stand up,
website,
please, Beth?
there is a written program there of every night what the guards do. And if there's any questions, they can call me. I have 90 pages of what they did last month.
Alice, did you have something to contribute?
Sorry, pulling all my thoughts together. I appreciate what Dan said, and I appreciate all the work Beth has done. And if you guys don't know, Beth is spearheading the security communication throughout the General Council, which is now the Community Services Association. She is a staple to that, so she's a great resource, and we're lucky to have her in our neighborhood. We really are.
And thank you for doing that, and that was a good answer. I mean, because I didn't know, you know, I've seen them in there.
I'm the secretary, so
Yeah.
I get every report, every piece of something that goes down. We have monthly meetings on Fridays, the second Friday of every month at 11:15 at the church. Everyone is more than welcome to come.
Yeah, I've been to a couple of them.
You know, we're trying what we can, the best we can.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
My name is Gail Boyd, and I'm concerned when I saw the general counsel, which is, I didn't know the name was changed from general counsel to, what was it, Alice?
Community Services Association.
Community Services Association. I don't know whether you realize it or not, but your HOA, those members at the board control how much money you pay every month for dues. Okay, and if something comes up that is not in your best interest, you have a meeting once a year that you can come to, or perhaps go to the meeting as an individual. Your HOA dues are a very important part of your budget. Now, if you look at the general counsel's budget, I was amazed when I saw that budget. I don't know whether you really looked at it or not, but it came out, that budget is longer than our budget. Okay, it has things on it like camera maintenance, camera hardware, 2 different categories, okay? It is a huge budget, and we have only one vote on that council. And that's not right, and I'm wondering what's gonna happen when other HOAs come in there. And our cost is, $8 a month per unit now, because they boosted the fee that you pay, $8 a month per unit per month to general counsel. Okay, I'm sorry, I keep calling it general counsel. I feel as though there are things going on that you are not getting the proper, representation, and you were paying for it. And you know, I had friends over the other night, and they don't care, because what is the control of that budget when these people have put out a budget that has a manager, I have to find it, a property manager, okay? We're gonna pay for a property manager for general counsel. We're gonna pay for insurance for the board of general, and I have to call it general counsel because I can't remember the new name, it's changed. I think it behooves us not to belong to the general counsel at this time.
Thank you, Kim. Anyone else have anything to contribute? Yes.
The general counsel is morphing. Sorry, Alice again, sorry.
Read the letter.
Yeah. The general counsel is turning into a community services association to absorb new challenges and spearhead new opportunities for safety, security, lighting, and maintenance of the entire community. Prior to the last 10 years, there were no rules or regulations about co-joining all of the HOAs together. That is a new standard, and we're behind the ball. We're just one of those older communities who've had a lot of, crappy things happen to us along the way. And this group of volunteers is doing their best to try and anticipate problems and opportunities in the short-term future. When the roads are going to be developed, they're trying to set aside money for that because there are gonna be some things we, as in Island Green residents, are gonna be responsible to either build or maintain in the future. When the guardhouse comes down, security will change. Security will change because the telephone will be gone, because the guardhouse will be gone. So they're trying to anticipate and work toward a plan to have a seamless transaction. And that is part of why it's now $8 per person per home.
Which it was last year, this year.
Per month.
Per month, yeah. I agree with Gail. I think that everybody should have a vote, a say, and an opportunity to express how they feel. Those meetings are held once a month at 11:15 at the Amenity Center, or used to be the Amenity Center, is now the Arms Wide Open Church. And we welcome everybody to join in to ask questions. They have updated their website. They have created a communication portal via those emails, kind of like what Shannon was talking about. And those meetings are being recorded online, so you as homeowners can watch it in the convenience of your home and at any time. If you have questions or suggestions, or there's just something that isn't coming across clear, they're a great board, a great group of people, and they're doing this because they believe in continuing to maintain the community as a whole.
Yes, ma'am, just a couple of minutes.
I'm afraid that, they have kind of put the cart before the horse, okay? Right now, the, council is doing a lot of things that we particularly have not seen good results yearly for our organization. They are taking on liabilities that if we belong to that organization, that liability will come back on us, okay? And it is unfortunate. I have been an owner in Island Green since 1987, continuously. And I have seen property managers come and go. And to set up a property manager in the general council and to ensure the board and the general council and add more layers of cost to yourself is ridiculous. We pay our own lighting, we pay for our own road. Yes, there will be a day that the developer, after the road is finished and he is gone, and enough people drive on the road that there's gonna be repairs. And at that time, we will do something about it. But to get this cart so far in front of the horse is ridiculous, and to pay, that's a lot of money. Even though they only
Gail, we need to wrap it up.
increase you cents a month per household now, okay? But what is it going to be in the future, and how much control do you have over what they charge you?
Thank you very much, thank you. Does anybody else have anything that they need to say, or, so here's my question, is we do believe that this should be a homeowner vote. This is your funds, this is your money, and this is, you know, security. So, by a show of hands, we would like to know if you would like to continue to participate in security, the general council, $8 a month, the way that we have been. All right, show of hands, are all in favor of continuing? Okay, all right, and if you do not want to continue? And the rest are just undecided?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Mine are three.
Huh?
Mine are three votes.
Well, you are correct.
You know,
Yes,
I like
you are correct. Yes,
to
please.
make a comment. If one more HOA drops out,
That's it.
you will have no security in this whole place. Just remember that.
That's not.
If one
That is
more
true.
HOA drops
That
out,
is true.
there will not be enough
You
money.
don't have enough money.
We.
I don't wanna hear it. I don't wanna hear it.
I'm sorry,
There's the
no,
budget.
respect.
You upset a meeting once.
I have a question,
Please.
and, I lived in, my name's Artie Green, and I live on Glen Eagles. I lived in a pretty nice neighborhood before I moved over to where I live now. And in that neighborhood, we had multiple homeowners associations, just like we did. It was done when the neighborhood was built. Each street had its own HOA, which was nuts. Our HOA fees were voluntary. If you didn't wanna pay them, you didn't have to pay them. We had a guardhouse too, and the only time we had people in that guardhouse was for Halloween, to try to keep the neighborhood from being overrun, because we had a lot of kids and stuff in that neighborhood. But we did a lot of, neighborhood watch stuff. And I don't know, you know, I know we have, just like me, I'm older. We have a lot of older people and don't wanna go out and ride around at night. But it would make sense if we discuss that, and, you know, Paul and I have discussed it and stuff too, and, you know, I don't mind taking a turn. We have enough people that it'd be once a month, you'd have to ride around and do this. But that is a solution. If somebody else drops out and then we don't have security, we gotta think of what comes next. We can't just bury our head in the sand and think,
We have
you
to
know,
cut some of the
yeah,
things
something
that we
else.
do. I mean, we pay for the lighting along Sunny Hannah because Mr. Williamson, the owner, refuses to pay it. So you're gonna pay, what is it, $1 something a month, a year, to have the street lights? I mean, it's things like that. He refuses to do anything more than develop his new house.
When she
and
says-
my opinion of that,
And I don't know when
he's
the-
supposed to be the road fixer too, is that
Well,
not
that's-
correct?
All right.
Eventually,
Yeah,
Thank
but
you.
I have a feeling that at the end of that, he'll declare bankruptcy
And
and
he'll be
stuff,
gone.
and then he'll do a thing to run it.
Artie, I think that a neighborhood watch is a great idea.
Absolutely.
And I think that, you know, that's something that we would
you
like
have to
touch
look
base
into
with
the
you about.
insurance for that.
We will look into everything, but I think that it's a great idea and something that we would like to
Use
consider.
drones,
I'm sorry?
have it going, or,
Have a what, a drone?
yeah.
Is that what you said? All right, so,
Yeah.
do we want
Tell us who was elected.
Okay, all right, so, yes, yeah, just a minute, because we need to move forward.
General counsel and security has to be separated, because we are looking for security, and they have expanded that budget considerably beyond security. And if you're going to do that,
Wrong meeting.
I would,
Yeah.
I would hope that you would want to just get security for
So-
your area.
We did take a vote, we did vote to leave it as is. It's not something that we will not continue to look at and monitor and pay attention to. But for right now, we will continue to leave things as they are. Okay? All right, moving on. Okay. Brian, I'll let you take this. Speeding.
Do you have a forum to even take this vote right now?
Yes,
You do.
yes. Yeah, we were over our,
You were only 3 or 4 over.
we were,
Three people leave, we were 4 over. We're okay.
I'm getting ready to leave, so let's go.
okay. Thank you, yes. Moving on.
Lunchtime.
Moving on. Go ahead. Make it quick, short, and sweet.
Unfortunately, there is some speeding going on in our neighborhoods, and it's by us, not anybody else. There's no need for that. At 15 miles an hour.
Speak a little louder, please.
It's 15 miles an hour, okay? We all need to pay attention. We live here. We need to pay attention and just do no more than 15 miles an hour. It's really simple. It's not a big deal. The alternative is not something that I would love to see, and that is speed bumps. That is ridiculous. We are all adults. 15 miles an hour, please.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Carrie, do we have we can't, do president and vice president without the results.
The voting are in, we have 54 for Brian, 51 for Nancy, 52 for Ron, 10 for Dan, and 3 for Paul. So the winners are Brian, Nancy, and Ron.
All right, congratulations, that's our board remains as is. So the next thing is voting for the president and the vice president. I'm not gonna bore you with a whole nother speech, because I think I've talked enough. If you know me, that you know that I take this very seriously, and I have tried very, very hard to be a good president. I was very active even as a vice president. I was behind Keith, and I was extremely, let's just say I was extremely active as a vice president. So I am running for presidency again. I do hope that you'll vote for me. Obviously, you have the right to vote for anybody that's on the board. But I do hope that you'll vote for me. I do take it to heart, and I do try to make everything as easy as possible. I will tell you that Brian and I have made a very good team. As a matter of fact, I thanked him as soon as we got here today. A lot of times, things fall onto one person, and this whole entire group has really been able to take things on together and make sure that we're able to come together and get things done.
Yeah.
So, Brian, I'll let you give your own speech, but I certainly hope that you and I will be able to be together again.
I would like to be the vice president again. First of all, I thank you for voting me back in. I would like to be vice president. I do not want to be president. I don't want her job. So please vote for her for president, because she does a lot, and she cares, and I do too. Yes.
I have one other thing to say. I would like to thank all of you for being on the board. I am sad at the type of criticism that came through this meeting that was uncalled for. I would like to thank Carrie for being treasurer. Since I have owned in Fairway Village, I own in Fairway Village too, in Green Springs. Since 1987, I bought the Myrtle home. And I have bought some other homes, because I believe in Fairway Village being a profitable, desirable place to live. And we have always had as our treasurer, someone that owned a home in Green Springs. Okay, and Carrie, I thank you for being our treasurer. I thank you for answering the phone, and I have a question, and I thank you for sending out the information that you did. Thank you.
Absolutely. Do we have ballots for or is it in the packet?
We have that. I go through this every year. We're supposed to vote in writing. We only have 2 people running. What's the consensus? Are we gonna vote in writing?
No.
No, let's just get on with it.
I second that motion.
Yeah.
Motion to take a hand vote.
Good, thank you, Dan.
Seconded?
Second.
Okay, yeah, all right.
All in favor of, go ahead. All in favor of Shannon and Brian?
Aye.
I can't vote, you vote.
Anyone against?
Thank you guys very, very much.
Good job.
Thank you. Yeah, we appreciate you
Where's
very
lunch?
much.
That's it.
All right, I kind of feel like we've really, tackled anything else that maybe come before, but is there anything else, that we need to make sure that we discuss or handle before we all enjoy the rest of our Saturday? Beautiful Saturday, by the way.
But we adjourn.
Yes. Yes. All right, so the next two, I have a couple things to say really quickly. Guys, 1 second, please. The date of the next annual meeting is November 2nd, 2024. Don't forget to return your clocks back. And also, Dan does have some information that if you want to see him, he will go over it with you personally. We thank you guys so very much for everything. Yes?
And I would like to acknowledge Dan for providing this information. He does a flawless job, he's completely dedicated, and we're really lucky to have you.
Thank you. All right, motion to adjourn? All right, seconded? Seconded. All right, adjourn. Thank you, guys. Did you